Welcome back to Alien Wisconsin. This week, I want to try something a little different. Instead of covering a bunch of news stories, I want to focus on one, the Age of Disclosure documentary trailer. It's really short, about 90 seconds, but it's packed with some of the biggest names we've ever seen speaking publicly about UFOs. People like Secretary of State Marco Rubio, André Carson, Chris Mellon, Stratton, and even Oliver Stone is putting his name on it, sorta, kinda. Now, I'm a filmmaker myself, though on a smaller scale, and I've made regional documentaries, short films, and my newest piece, which I just showed at Paracon, Milwaukee. So when I see a project like this, I can't help but watch it from both sides, as someone who is interested in the phenomenon and as a documentarian who knows what it takes to get access, to earn trust, and to actually finish something this wildly ambitious. So today, I'll play the trailer, pause it a few times, and talk about what stands out to me, what they're saying, how it's put together, and what it means for people like us who are trying to make sense of disclosure. All right, let's get into it. It's a very bold claim.
Had repeated instances of something operating in the airspace over restricted nuclear facilities, and it's not ours.
Okay, so that's Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, admitting that there's things flying over our airspace, over our nuclear airspace, that aren't ours. And that's, I mean, even if they're not UFOs, that should just terrify people. These are nuclear weapons.
These are otherworldly things that are performing maneuvers that haven't been seen.
That is the chair. His name is André Carson, I believe. He's the chair of the first UAP hearing.
There's a whole fleet of them. I have seen with my own eyes non-human craft and non-human beings.
Okay, so this is the biggest claim that the documentary makes. I have seen with my own eyes non-human crafts and non-human beings. In other words, I've seen, alien ships and extraterrestrials or aliens. I've seen them. And that's Jay Stratton. He's a senior government official. He's in charge of the UAP task force. He also supposedly has briefed presidents. That's what I have read. I don't know if that's true. Some of that is hush-hush. But it's an incredible claim. It's an incredible claim. And obviously we haven't seen the documentary. It's maybe there's something in there. Like maybe he actually brings receipts. That would be really eye-opening. This claim from Oliver Stone is really incredible because, his movie helped change legislation as well. It helped give us the Disclosure Act about Kennedy's assassination.
This is so secret. There have been very few people in our entire government that have been allowed or provided access to it.
Even presidents have been operating on a need-to-know basis, but that begins to ramp out of control.
This is one of the most other explosive claims, is that presidents don't even know the whole truth. They operate on a need-to-know basis. And maybe they don't need to know very much. I don't know. I mean, this claim is really incredible, and it's consistent with a lot of the top secret and classified things that I have been reading as well in terms of how it all works. The president probably doesn't need to know everything about UFOs. They only need to know when it matters.
It's not acceptable to have secret parts of government that no one ever sees. People have been hurt protecting and hiding this information.
Some people claim it would cost them their lives if they spoke out about these things.
I mean, that's incredible, too, that you could lose your life if you speak out about these things. And there's been lots of different... David Grush has claimed that someone brandished a firearm when he was driving to do testimony and just pointed at it right at him while he was driving. But we're talking like within a mile of where his destination was in Washington, D.C., so like it was related, possibly. I mean, these threats are real. Like, I mean... I guess just by definition, like it's treason to spill state secrets like this. Like, it is the death penalty is what that's what treason is.
You had information being locked away that could change the trajectory for species.
I mean, Lou Elizondo is a complicated figure, but he's correct here. I mean, this information, if it is locked away, could change the trajectory of humanity. Not just America, not just like, 2025 or 2026, but for all time. This is incredible if these allegations are borne out in this film.
This is the biggest discovery in human history.
I mean, Chris Mellon really nails it there at the end. This is the biggest discovery in human history, if it's true. I mean, I have watched this documentary maybe, I don't know, 5 times, and each time I genuinely get chills when I watch it. I mean, maybe my expectations are too high. They absolutely could be. But it's just incredible what they've been able to achieve. I kind of want to talk a little bit more about, like, when you're making a documentary like this, the most important thing is getting access. And that's the hardest part for people like myself who, I'm just a small regional YouTuber who does, little films and things like that. I don't have access to the Secretary of State or sitting senators. I don't have access to even Congress people. I mean, that would be wonderful. But this documentary has access. That's the thing that you really want as a documentarian. I mean, there's always been a horrible stigma about this topic. And you have people at the very top of the ladder coming out in this film, and they know it's about UFOs. It's no surprise. It's really incredible. I want to point at Marco Rubio especially. The Secretary of State is an incredibly powerful role. In the United States history, 6 Secretary of States have gone on to become president. It is considered like the main stepping stone to becoming president because it's such an important role. It deals with all foreign affairs with other countries. Now, are UFOs foreign countries? Or like, I think it's like the language in it is very vague. It says like, I believe it's like foreign allies or something. Like, maybe the Secretary of State has a hand in this. Like, maybe that's why he's in this film. I don't actually know. I have no idea. It would be kind of a incredible twist if you think about it for those people who are really into politics. Like, wow, the Secretary of State, it's really important. It's even more important than we realize because these are the allies or the enemies that the Secretary of State would be dealing with, which is kind of an incredible thing if you think about it. So I'm really excited about this film. It looks visually really well shot. I like the way the interviews look. I would say that they do look like there's multiple teams that put them together because they look a little inconsistent to me. Especially the Lou Elizondo interview looks wildly different than the Chris Mellon one, like visually speaking. Like, I'll probably put them side by side on the screen and you can see what I mean by that. The visual language is a little inconsistent. But yeah, I'm super excited about this documentary, and I'm actually planning on having a party for it. So, if you're in the Madison, Wisconsin area, you might get an invite. We will see. Maybe it's possible to rent something out. Unfortunately, the film is only going to be in theaters in LA, New York, and Washington, D.C. So Wisconsin is not on the list, which is unfortunate. But it's on Amazon. So, I mean, it's not really gate kept that hard. I believe it's $25 on Amazon, and it's going to blow up on the internet harder than anything. I'm unbelievably excited for this film. And I'm really afraid that, maybe it's, it could really disappoint. This could be the most overhyped film of all time. It's possible. Is this going to be a Blackfish movie where, it changes the life of sea creatures or of killer whales all over the world? Blackfish is one of the most successful documentaries in terms of actually causing political change for the better. I mean, the whole killer whale thing, they're just too smart and they don't deserve to be put in captivity. And I think that documentary makes an incredible case. And I'm really hoping that Age of Disclosure is one of those documentaries. It's similar to the Inconvenient Truth documentary that really helped push climate change as an idea and legislation, and that we need to take care of the planet in a meaningful way. But maybe, if this documentary is what it claims to be, it's going to blow those other two documentaries out of the water, and that's wildly impressive. Watching the Age of Disclosure trailer really got to me. Not just as someone who covers UFOs, but as a filmmaker. What director Dan Farah pulled off here is incredible. Getting access to people like Rubio, Senator Gillibrand, and Stratton, and keeping it under wraps for several years. And it's just really impressive. And still telling a story that feels this big, that takes real vision. It reminds me of where I'm at right now with some of my own work. At Paracon in Milwaukee, I showed a preview of my next mini documentary. I just want to thank everyone who came out and asked really great questions. The Q&A was wonderful. They shared their stories. The event organizers, especially Mike and Jeff, were fantastic. And the attendees made it really an amazing experience. The new film is very close to being done. It still needs a little bit of refinement, but it's almost there, and I'll be excited to show it. And like the Age of Disclosure, it's about more than just UFOs. It's about the people trying to understand the unknown and having the courage to talk about it. Thanks again for being part of Alien Wisconsin. Keep watching the skies, stay curious, and I'll see you soon.